Patreon members, all the subscribers, all the new viewers. I want to thank you guys for your support and your contributions made to the platform. It really means a lot to me. If you guys can do me a favor, check out the link in the description box below. If you want to join the Patreon page or the Facebook page, links are in the description box below. Rent-free RFG, for those that have been around long enough, y'all know what that means. Screen record news. Hopefully you're watching this on a mobile device. All right, if you don't know who I am, my name is Splashwave Beats. I've been either living or traveling abroad for the last 15 years. All right, and I want to talk about trending topics that are either, trending in the country of the United States, or it doesn't matter, international trending topics. We talk about it all right here. All right. So this article right here is brought to you by the Straits Times, a news publication in Singapore. 41 people taken to hospital after mass food poisoning case at Singapore ByteDance office. Okay, I have been to Singapore a couple of times. Very nice country. Singapore is kind of like Hong Kong. It's a city, province, country all in one. All right, weird to it's kind of weird to explain, but when I saw this, I really had to talk about it because I've experienced food poisoning and strep throat overseas a couple of times, especially in Thailand. And I want to talk about it. And for a place like ByteDance to have 41 people, 41 of their staff experience food poisoning, that's very telling. Okay, casualties. This is a picture of casualties being transferred to a mass decontamination vehicle outside One Raffles Quay. So Raffles, you'll see that name everywhere in Singapore because Singapore was like, it was founded, quote unquote, by a general named Raffles, a British general named Raffles. So you'll see that name and that term everywhere you go in Singapore. Okay, so you got more photos of the ambulance trucks, fire trucks outside of the ByteDance office, One Raffles Quay, inside the lobby. Okay, paramedics. A total of 41 people fell ill after a major food poisoning incident at the office of TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, at One Raffles Quay on July 30th. In response to queries by the Straits Times, the Singapore Civil Defense Force said it received multiple calls for medical assistance at One Raffles Quay at about 3:15 p.m. A total of 17 ambulances were were deployed to the location. The SCDF said the affected people experienced symptoms of abdominal pain and vomiting and have been taken to the hospitals. The hospital those affected were taken to include Singapore General Hospital, Tan Tock Seng Hospital, and Raffles Hospital. So 3 different hospitals. They had earlier consumed food from the same source. It added. SCDF set up a first aid point at One Raffles Quay and assessed other individuals who were experiencing the same symptoms. So a spokesperson from ByteDance said, "We take the health and safety of our employees very seriously and have taken immediate steps to support all affected employees, including working with emergency services to provide care. We are investigating the matter and are working with the relevant authorities on this." Okay, and this isn't the first food poisoning incident that happened this week. This is the second. This is the second major case of food poisoning within a week. A total of 165 SCDF personnel fell sick on July 23rd and 24th at the Civil Defense Academy campus in Jalan Bahar, which is in Singapore. ST has contacted the Singapore Food Agency for more information. So this sounds like an attack. It sounds like maybe a disgruntled former employee that has an issue with management or their coworkers, and it sounds like it's an attack, or it might not even be a former employee, it might be a current employee. So it seems like an attack, or if it's not an attack, where are they getting their food from, right? Could it be from the catering company or whoever's providing the food, making the food over at their location? What are they doing to the food? Do they know, okay, hey, we have a large order going to ByteDance to this week. We need to make up this, that, and the third. And the chefs in the back, are they doing anything? Do they have an issue with ByteDance? Like, what is it? Notice in the article they say, hey, no, we're getting the local authorities involved in this because 165 earlier in the week. Now we got 41. This seems like an attack. All right. And for somebody like myself who's either lived or traveled abroad for 15 years, man, I've experienced my fair share of food poisoning and strep throat, mainly in Thailand. Um, I'm not gonna lie, there's been some food I've had to push to the side, when offered to me because I didn't know what it was. If I don't know what it is, I'm not gonna eat it. Some people might take it as disrespect. Some people might take it as like, they might get offended because it's like, wow, Americans are just so close-minded. All they want to eat is hamburgers and pizza and hot dogs, and that's it. No, that's not the case. There's hamburgers and hot dogs and pizza that have poisoned people in the past. Um, you got to understand that certain foods that we're not familiar with, like I've seen a bunch of foods I haven't been familiar with in Thailand, and I just didn't eat it. I know people who have, like I remember just eating the foods that I was familiar with that I didn't have an issue with, led me to get strep throat at least 4 different times living in Thailand. So even the foods that I was comfortable eating, I still got strep throat. I know so many people who have food poisoning that I worked with that didn't show back up to work, very sick, ended up in the hospital. Um, and when they were out for quite a while, over a week, right? Um, the fish and stuff like that. It's and I hate to just put this on Asian food in Asia because it seemed like Singapore, um, it seemed like their food, especially a company, a successful company like ByteDance, they would get their food source from a trusted source, a trusted clean source. So um, it doesn't sound like they just got it off of some food truck off the street. Which when I was in Singapore, I didn't really see any food trucks off the street. So maybe on a different another side of Singapore they might have that, or it didn't seem like they just got it from a random hawker station. It seemed like they got it from a trusted, a culinary source that is held in the highest regards. So I don't know. You know, I've been very, very sick off of foods that I've eaten. And I remember one time I was in China and I was in Beijing, and there was this little mom and pop spot that I used to go to all the time to get my like rice and cabbage, and um, I ate there, 3 or 4 times, felt fine. By the fifth time, I had like really, really bad flu symptoms. Like I was out for a couple of days, and then once I started to get better, I went back to that spot, not knowing that hey, they were probably serving food that wasn't good for me. I went back over there, ate some food again. Those flu-like symptoms came back, and I said, no, I'm not eating over there ever again. I just determined that hey, whatever's making me sick is coming from their food. Right? I got sick a couple of times in Beijing. I got sick multiple times in Thailand. You got to be careful, right? I know people with a passport and we travel, we are open minded. We like to try new things, different experiences. Uh, we try to expand our mind. Like, hey, just don't always just go for hamburgers and French fries. Go for something different, and that's what we do when we travel abroad. And sometimes it gets us sick. I haven't met anybody who hasn't gotten sick yet off of a meal that they tried in Asia somewhere. So, does that mean that all food in Asia, wherever you go, can potentially get you sick? I mean, anywhere you go in life, anywhere in America, the food that you eat can get you sick. But is it so much that the food is contaminated? No. Sometimes trying different spices, oils, it just builds up. You know, you get sick because you're being introduced to different spices, and you got to build up your immunity for different bacteria that's in other countries. And in the beginning, in order to build up that immunity, it's gonna be down for the count for a little while. So, I went to Mexico before I got sick. Um, so I I I'm not trying to put my experience off of everywhere you go, just Asian food. No, right? But, just be careful where you go to when you travel, right? We want to try different things, and sometimes it just doesn't work well for us. But in this case, I'm not sure if it was just, it sounds like, I mean, these are Singaporean people that have lived there long enough to where they built a tolerance for some of the spices and herbs and oils that's in their food. This sounds like it's an attack. All right. So be careful, be safe. I always say, hey man, go to the mall and eat. I always eat at the mall. Why? Because if you experience food poisoning, then you as a tourist or whatever, you probably have a chance on being compensated. You know, because at a mall, it's a group of investors who built that shopping mall, right? Whereas like some food truck or whatever, it's you know, there's no way that they can help you if it's just a food truck. All right, so you guys be safe. I'm over and I'm out. See you guys in the next video. Peace.